Alright, what's going on guys? It's GSR here. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about why I think the flow spot mechanic is very flawed in Mortal Kombat 11, right? Now I do like the flow spot mechanic and I wouldn't mind seeing this in future NRS fighting games. However, the problem with the flow spot mechanic is that there are a lot of things that are poorly developed about it. Just in general, and I'm going to show you guys those examples. I'm pretty sure there's more examples out there that people probably expose on their YouTube channels, but I'm just going to expose to you guys the certain problems with the flow spot mechanic, at least from my perspective, right? So, say for example, I go for, Shang Tsung's 1-1-2 combo string, right? As you can clearly see here, he's +6 on block with pushback. If I go for Shang Tsung's advancing 4-2-4-2 combo string, he is +4 on block. However, if you take it upon yourself to flow spot Shang Tsung, right, his 1-1-2 is -4 on block, and there's no pushback here. If I go for his advancing 4-2-4-2 combo string, right, there's no pushback here, and he's -6 on block. So Shang Tsung is one of the few characters in the game that is technically following the rules of the flow spot mechanic in this game, right? Now, let's go to Kotal Khan real quick, right? If Kotal Khan goes for his 1-2-2 combo string, as you can clearly see here, the character is still +1 on block. Okay, cool. That's because I didn't flawless block him. Now, if I take it upon myself to flawless block him, check this out. Why are you still + on block when you should be at least -4 on block to where you're this close to me? How does this make any sense? Like, this logically makes no sense, ladies and gentlemen, and mostly gentlemen, right? Now, say for example, my back is pushed into the corner, right? And I successfully flawless block you just like this. This is a problem. And the reason why this is a problem is because if I have no resources, or I don't want to waste any resources just in general, you're still + on block. And that doesn't make any sense how, like, my character's following those rules, but your character doesn't have to follow those rules. And Kotal Khan is not the only one. You have Sub-Zero and quite a few other characters that are just like this, right? And this just doesn't make any sense from a competitive standpoint or a logical standpoint. I feel like this is poorly developed because it's like, why is this even happening in the first place? Say, for example, Kotal Khan jumped in with a delayed jump in 2, right? As you can clearly see here, despite the fact that I flawless blocked you, you're not at least minus on block, at least -4 or -5 on block, right? For doing something like this. So what's happening here is that they're forcing me to use resources, which doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I don't understand why that's even a thing. So another thing that I want to talk about is the jailing situation in this game. When you jail someone, they're supposed to take your combo string, right? So say for example, I go for Shang Tsung's down 1. As you can clearly see, the hit advantage is 13 frames. I have a standing one that's 8 frames, which is obviously faster than my hit advantage, which means that I can automatically jail Kotal Khan. So as you can clearly see, Kotal Khan is neutral ducking my highs, which this high is very confusing because it's actually hitting the character, but somehow Kotal Khan is avoiding it, which leaves me really perplexed. But anyway, that's NRS games for you. So as you can clearly see, Kotal Khan tries to neutral duck, and as you can clearly see, he gets hit. So if he gets hit, he takes some form of a combo, depending on what combo he's going to do. Depending on what he does, when I morph into him, he'll get punished or whatever. Like, you kind of get the idea, right? So, like, why isn't it to where the opponent has to take the combo string? Why is it that they can sit there and flawless block me? Now, of course, there's going to be some argument around this. Well, it's not easy to flawless block. It's hard to do it, blah, blah, blah. That's not necessarily true. You've even had Ninja Killer consistently flawless block people numerous fucking times because he knows, just as well as the next player knows, that there are certain combo strings that people are going to go for because it's very common for that to happen. And what I'm saying is like, imagine Kotal Khan going for his down 1. What combo string do you think he's going to go for? I guarantee you most of you guys literally just said his 1-2-2. Especially if you're a Kotal Khan main. The reason why is because he gets a lot of good options off of his 1-2-2 because that is his best combo string in close range engagements because of the mix-up potential, the spacing potential, and the stagger, and somewhat auto shimmy, or not auto shimmy, but what the fuck do you call that shit? Yeah, auto shimmy, I think, yeah. Where it looks like he's about to throw you off of his 1-2. So he gets a lot of great options off of that, and then he's safe off of it. When he staggers the standing 1 or the 1-2, and then he recovers pretty quickly to where he can press another button. So it's very common for a Kotal Khan player to do this. So what happens here is that You know for a fact that 95% of the time, a Kodokan player, after they hit you with a down one and they visually confirm that they hit you with a down one, they're going to chase you down, or they're going to try and jail you, excuse me, with the 1-2-2 combo string and force you to take a mix-up, or if you do get hit, you will get launched. Or if he doesn't have the launcher, which he doesn't have in this variation, you'll just get hit with an unbreakable combo, which I like to call a special combo, where you can't necessarily break out of the opponent's combo, which there's quite a few characters that have that in this game. But I digress. Right? Now, I get it if, you know, I'm minus on block, right? Like, I'm minus on block and no one got jailed here. We're still technically in the neutral state to a certain degree, right? I get if, like, I go for a down one like this and then Kodokan immediately tries to take his turn because he knows I'm not going to cancel into any special move or something like that. Then it makes sense for you to flawless block. But if I jail you, like, nigga, come on now. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. And there's plenty of people, especially in Combat League, on a higher level, or whatever case you want to call it, even though this game shouldn't be taken seriously as a competitive fighting game, not unless you're playing for money or you're trying to make a name for yourself. But, like, there have been people that have consistently flawless blocked people in this game every time they would try to jail. Okay, so even though there's not a lot of Johnny Cage players out there, okay, I guarantee you most of the Johnny Cage players are going to agree with me on this if you've mained Johnny Cage since the very beginning. After you go for a down 4, okay, and you visually confirm you hit the opponent with the down 4, what is the combo string that you're more than likely going to go for 90% of the time? Or at least 95% of the time? The advancing forward 3-4-4, because of all the different options that you get off of it. Now, if you don't go for this, you're probably going to go for, you know, a throw situation, or you'll probably attempt to do that, which is going to be difficult because the opponent's going to be pushed back when you hit him with a down 4, or you might go for Johnny Cage's nut punch, you might go for Johnny Cage's back 4 too, you might create new neutral ground just to use your hit advantage to bait their attempt to press a button or something like that. You never know. But 90% to possibly 95% of the time, you're going to chase the opponent down with the advancing forward 3-4-4. Now, it is possible to dash up and go for Johnny Cage's 1-2-1 or his 1-2-4, which is his bread and butter combo strings, but you have to visually confirm that you hit the opponent, and there's going to be times where you do mistime that, where the opponent will take advantage of that situation, and they will down one you, or they will uppercut you because you were too late. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's what's funny about this, right? If you go against a 50-50 character, right, they are basically avoiding being flawless blocked. Because guess what? They don't have to deal with that. You want to know why? Not only are they jailing you. A prime example is Sub-Zero. When Sub-Zero jails you, guess what? You are in a 50-50. You're in Mixed City, which increases his chances of opening you up very easily. So he doesn't have to deal with being flawless blocked. So they can basically do what they want when they want to. Because when you're jailed, you're going to respect the idea that his 1-2, his standing 2, 1, or whatever, and his back 3 is going to jail you. Or a double poke will jail you if you disrespect him. So once you respect the idea that this can happen, that's when the 4-2 and comes out, and now you're dealing with a 50-50. And Sub-Zero's not the only one. There are other characters in the game that don't necessarily follow these rules because they have access to a overhead starter and a low starter. You see where I'm going with this? You see how dumb this actually is, especially on a competitive level? So we're going to continue on. Another thing that is actually really dumb to me about the flawless block mechanic in Mortal Kombat 11 is the fact that there is a gap in certain combo strings that have a flawless block gap in it, right? And what I mean by there's a gap in it is that if you have a 7-frame move or a 6-frame move, you can interrupt it without even having to flawless block the opponent. So I'm a little perplexed on this. Why is there a flawless block gap in this when I can interrupt it? And then Kodokan has something like this as well. So it's just like, what's the point of me flawless blocking you like this when I can just interrupt you just by doing this? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what is the point of that, right? Now, I'm going to show you guys something else that's really dumb about the flawless block situation in this game, right? And I'm going to pick Gears for this because he's a good example for this. And I'm going to pick Rambo, right?
The hourglass.
So, what's weird about this game, right, when it comes to the flawless block situation, is that if you flawless block somebody in the middle of their combo string, they're still able to continue on. Well, they can continue attacking you, which doesn't make sense. Or, like, they can keep mixing you, right? So, like, if we look at Gears, right, as you can clearly see, if I go for his 2-4-1 string, right, which is this mix-up situation he gets, or 50-50 situation, whatever you want to call it, right? As you can clearly see, he can do that. However, like, if Rambo flawless blocks him, which there's a flawless block gap in the second hit, as you can clearly see, he can keep going as if you didn't just flawless block him, right? So, he should be stopped here, right? He should be stopped right here if you don't want to up 2 or up 3 him. However, he's still able to consistently do this. Now, let's switch over to Rambo. Rambo is undeniably unsafe on block, and he gets a shitty reward off of it. Not only that, when he goes for the little throw here, which is a little mix-up situation here, the damage is shitty, and he can't keep you on the same side. So this is just a shitty-ass combo string, I think, right? What's weird about this is that they made it to where Rambo is -7 on block, right? Okay, cool. You know, he can stagger, and yes, of course, he can take advantage of the fact that you're trying to flawless block him. Okay, cool. That can help him out greatly, right? However, why should he have a flawless block gap in his forward 1-2-2 when his mix-up is highly unsafe and he already gets a shitty reward off of it, right? So check this out. See how I was able to commit into the full combo string? Now I want you guys to pay close attention to this. I can't even commit into the full combo string. However, Gears can do this. Then on top of that, like, if I was to pick, like, motherfucking Shao Kahn, and I go for Shao Kahn's advancing forward 3-4 1+3 string, you basically stop his ability to go for the rest of his combo string, which leads into a mix-up. However, when it comes to certain characters in this game, that doesn't apply. They can just keep going. So this is confusing how, like, you could stop characters like this and tamper with their mix-up potential, but then other characters like Gears, that doesn't happen. How does this remotely make any sense? So check this out, right? And this is the reason why I said he shouldn't even be fucking -8. He should be -6. Hell, possibly -7, and that's it. Like, I don't even understand why he's -8 on that. But check this out. As you can clearly see, I'm gonna turn my buttons on just to show you guys I'm pressing the buttons. When I do this, the opponent is taking a potential mix-up, right? Okay, cool. Keep this in mind. However, when I do this, now I can't do it. I'm trying to go for the 1+3, and it's not coming out. However, when you do this to other characters, they can keep going. Then what's stupid about this is that there are mix-up situations in this game that should not have a flawless block gap in it. And I'm going to further elaborate what I mean by this, right? Kano has access to legit mix-ups. Like, he basically will mix the living shit out of you in this game, right? Which makes him pretty strong. Plus the plus frames and him being pretty safe on block and mind games that he gets access to, so you kind of get the idea with that, right? Now what's confusing about this is that they're telling me that I need to flawless block Kano's 2-4 1+3 string in order to punish him, when he's going for a launcher situation that is complementing what exactly? His command throw. This logically makes no sense because he has a chemical burn, okay, that will complement this as well. So he has best of both worlds here. He can either launch you or hit you with a chemical burn. He should be -9 off top. There should be no flawless block gap in that at all. He should be -9 off top. Why do I have to focus on flawless blocking you when you can already hit me with a chemical burn? Or you can hit me with a command throw. You see how dumb that is? Why isn't he -9 off rip? You understand what I'm saying? To where I don't have to flawless block him at all. Because think about it. When you neutral crouch or you try to jump, that chemical burn or that fucking launcher is going to catch you. So he should be unsafe on that. Just like his other two options is basically what I'm trying to get at. But that's not necessarily the case. He's safe on a launcher. And that's another thing that's stupid about this game is the launchers. There are certain launchers in this game that make the character safe, which doesn't make sense. You see how dumb this is? You see, this is the reason why I liked what Mike Hollow said, where he said that you can't really take losing seriously in this game because that opponent is putting you through a lot of bullshit like this, and then when you win, you're technically putting that opponent through that bullshit as well. You see like what Mike Hollow's talking about now? And I was like, that's real interesting that he said that. Because I was like, wow, that's actually like, that was a smart thing to say, because like at one point I was thinking to myself like, what does he mean by that? Because, you know, I'm like, where is he going with that? But then when you like really like think about it, you're like, okay, yeah. Now I understand why Mike Hollow said what he said. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't feel like you lost against the player. It's not like, oh, okay, he beat me, he outplayed me and shit like that. Not like in Tekken or Street Fighter, right? Because you'll deal with that, right? Like you'll accept that and you'll try to get better, right? You'll just realize that the opponent had the better and the upper hand against you. However, like in this game and NRS games just in general, that's not necessarily the case. Not unless you're playing like Deadly Alliance, you know, Deception. Those real NRS games that were really good are Midway games. I don't know if you guys played NRS fighting games way back in the day when they was with Midway, but that's when I got into it and I was playing Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and all that extra shit. But you kind of get the idea, right? And this is confusing because he should be -9 off top. It's funny how like when he goes for his 1-1-2 that leaves him plus on block with some pushback, he's actually minus on block. And look, the pushback's not there anymore, which makes sense. However, you got to deal with that bullshit or the chemical burn. And this is perfectly fine, right? Because that's a plus situation. When it comes to launchers, you shouldn't be safe off of this. Why do I have to resort to like flawless blocking you when you should just be -9 on block? You're already minus as hell on this, and you can be neutral ducked and punished when it comes to your command throw if I make the right read. You see what I'm saying? Like, stupid shit like this just doesn't make any sense, right? Now, you have Scorpion, right? Which all you guys should know by now. When Scorpion goes for his back one, he can commit into the full string of his back 1-4-3 string. That leaves him -5 on block. For some weird reason, when he goes for the back 1-4, he is incredibly minus on block. I don't know why that is. I mean, he definitely gets a really good amounts of block stun, but he should not be that minus on block. That's honestly ridiculous. If anything, make him -7. So, when Scorpion goes for his back one, he's -14 on block, which he can stagger that really well, which leaves me really perplexed. But anyway, when you flawless block it, he can't even go for the full entire string. However, when it comes to other characters and you do this to them, they can do that. Now, there are certain up 3s in the game that you can low profile, such as Noob Cybot's up 3, Jade's up 3, which I showed a video with Nightwolf. For people who watch that video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Then you have certain up 3s in the game that act as up 2s, such as Kung Lao's up 3, where he can actually get some form of a combo on you, which is very strange. Then there's certain up 2s in the game, like Melina's up 2, where like there's times where like her up 2 will completely whiff, or like when she hits you, it's difficult for her to like, you know, get a better damaging combo to a certain degree, depending on how far you and the opponent actually are. Right? You know, there's certain other up 2s in the game that are very questionable, like Fujin's up 2. Fujin up 2s you, and it's kind of difficult for him to hit confirm his up 2 into a full combo, or like a brief combo. And little shit like that. And then there are certain up 3s that can be hopped over, such as Jax's up 3 and Sonya Blade's up 3, which is very weird. Now, another thing that's weird about this game is that when it comes to characters having a gap in their combo string, right? I'm going to show you how dumb this shit is, right? We're going to go to Sub-Zero, because I can use Scarlet for this as well. And another thing that's weird about this flawless block mechanic is that why do you have a character that has a special move that is a parry when the flawless block mechanic is a parry system? So it's like, why do you need a actual parry in the game? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense at all, does it? Because not to me. And then you have a character like Sonya Blade that literally has two different sets of parries, a low parry and a fucking what is it? And a fucking high parry. And she doesn't have to follow the rules of the flawless block mechanic in this game because she can go through a decent amount of gaps in this game with just her meterless parry that costs no resources. Like, what the hell is that about? You see how dumb that is? So like, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about with this little situation here. So right here, right, as you can clearly see, there is a gap right there, right? However, I can't hit him. So let me get this straight. You already destroyed my ability to hit you in an up 2. If I go for the up 3, I can't hit you with the up 3, not unless I'm using like a character like Shao Kahn that has exceptional range on this up 3. I'm really perplexed right now. How does this logically make any sense? I'll wait for an answer for this, because like this is ridiculous. So he can get away with doing some bullshit like that. Now, another thing I'm going to show you is that there are a lot of characters, all the characters in the game have at least one combo string, I believe, that can chew through up 2s in the game if you think the opponent's trying to flawless block you, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, because that's a good way of countering the opponent if they're too flawless block happy. However, you have a few characters, or at least a couple characters, that are just a little bit too much with the flawless, with the combo strings when it comes to the opponent attempting to flawless block you. And one of the biggest examples is
Liu Kang.
And I'm going to show you guys why that is.
Fujin.
So, say for example, you know, on Wake Up, like on Wake Up, you try to flawless block him, or you try to flawless block him just in general, right? Liu Kang has access to 4 combo strings that will chew through up 2s in this game, which is crazy as hell, which makes his offense very intimidating, not just because of the staggers and how safe he is and how like dumb OP his back 1-2 4 string actually is, because I agree with Sonic Fox on this, right? But I'm going to show you guys what the fuck I am actually talking about, right? So check this out, right? Say for example, I go for the Chinese warrior string. Your up 2 means nothing. If I go for the 1-2-3 string, your string means nothing. If I go for the 4-3 string, your string, or your up 2, excuse me, means absolutely nothing. Okay, now when it comes to the back 1-2 4 string, as you can clearly see, that's what happens. Okay, cool. Cool. That's great. Now, watch this. You see what I'm showing you guys here? I'm showing you that you have a character that is incredibly oppressive with offense. Which is fucking crazy. Do you guys remember the online matches that I showed you guys back in the past where I was going against a Liu Kang player? And I made a correct read consistently knowing that he was going to go for that normal. And I tried to flawless block him, right? And what happened was that he kept beating my up 2 attempt, right? And I thought it was because I was delaying my up 2 as Johnny Cage. That's not the case. Liu Kang is out this motherfucker with 4 combo strings, technically 3. Okay, the 4th one you have to use it when the opponent's knocked down. And this character is able to chew through most up 2s in the game, which forces you to go for an up 3, which that's completely biased as hell, because he can use his up 2 and up 3 freely, depending on like the matchup, depending on like the spacing or whatever. And then like when it comes to your character, that doesn't necessarily apply. So he can really be really oppressive in the corner. And if you go for an up 3, the fucked up part about it is that Liu Kang player is not going to be that concerned, because you still have to try and open him up to switch sides with him, or to try and get him away from you to where you can get some room to breathe. So you kind of see like what's happening here, right? So I mean, I don't have anything else to add here. I'm pretty sure there's other things that people probably have already exposed about the flower spot mechanic in the game. Such as certain up threes in the game, right? That's another thing. Certain up threes in the game are safe, but then other ones aren't, which doesn't make any sense because you are going for an up three. And then certain hit advantage on the up threes are really low, which doesn't make any sense, or they're really high depending on the character. Like Joker's up three is like plus 14 or plus 15 if he ends up successfully hitting you, and it has decent range on it as well. However, like if you use like, I don't know, I can't remember what character it is, but there's quite a few characters in this game with a hit advantage that is like at least 8 to 6 frames, which is ridiculous, right? However, Scorpion, he's -2 on block when he goes for his up 2, and it starts off at 9 frames and has decent range on it, and it's pretty fucking quick for 9 frames. Like you kind of get like the idea with this type of stuff. I've talked about this way too fucking long, but there's probably other issues with it as well, but I think I touched on a decent amount of them, because I think that this is incredibly weird, and I think that this is a flawed defensive mechanic, and I do want to see this in future NRS fighting games. However, I am not a fan of how they set this up in this game, because it's like they didn't even test this out. And then what's weird about it is that you have other characters in this game that are following the rules of the flawless bot mechanic, meaning that they have a decent amount of flawless bot gaps in their combo strings, or some characters like Kung Lao have way too many. And then, you know, you have other characters like Johnny Cage, or definitely fucking Cabal, and then, you know, there are certain other characters that are just like them, where they don't really have true flawless bot gaps in their combo strings at all. And it's like, why is it that my character's following the rules of the flawless bot mechanic and your character isn't? So, I don't really have much to add here anymore. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you agree, that's really good. If you disagree, I would definitely love a response, because I would love to hear the excuse for this. That is going to be very entertaining to read. So yeah, I guess you could call this a rant or whatever. Like I don't really give a fuck what you call it, but this is just something that I wanted to touch on real quick, because I never really touched on it back in the past when I was just going the fuck off on this game, or whatever the case may be. Even when it comes to like projectiles in this game, you can flawless block characters' projectiles from far away or mid-screen or whatever, and they're not minus on block, they're just super plus on block. Like if you go and throw Cetrion's boulder, she's like plus 20 something, and then she's still plus as hell on block, even though you just flawless blocked it. It's just like, what's going on? It's already bad enough that projectiles don't clash, which destroys the neutral in the game, and then you have neutral breaking moves. It's just, you know, shit like this is just very fucking weird. Like Jade, right? Like she has a combo string, like it's like her back to something. It's like when she goes for like that multi-hitting high move, and then she spins it around and then goes for like this low overhead. And what's weird about it is like she has such a big gap in that combo string that it doesn't make any sense why there's a flawless block gap in it. It's just like, why is it there? You know what I mean? But I've talked about this way too long. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.